It's through God's gift of memory that we'll celebrate the moments and experiences that have helped make us who we are and have brought us to this moment. You and I may not know what the weather was like on May 19, 1949, but for Frank and Kay Dale of Cincinnati, it was a glorious day. For on that day, they welcomed their son Myron into the world, and from that day to this, our lives have been touched and shaped by Myron Dale. There will be memories. Some of you have memories of growing up with Myron here in Cincinnati or in high school at Walnut Hills. Some of you will remember a scholar at Yale University. There will be memories. Maybe you attended Georgetown University Law Center together, or you served with him as a trial lawyer for the United States Federal Trade Commission, or later on here in the city with Frost, Brown, and Todd. There will be memories. Some of you will remember a community leader, whether it was as a Board of Education, Wyoming School Board, or the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center, or Over the Rhine Foundation, or the School for Creative and Performing Arts. There will be memories, but that's why we're here today. Myron's had a powerful impact upon our lives, and he's been a special gift to us. So let's hear from people who can share some of those memories with us. And we'll start with a colleague and then family members, and then a longtime pastor. Jim, we'll start with you, if you'll come and begin to share with us.
Well, I bring you remarks and greetings from Frost Brown Todd, Myron's law firm. We at Frost Brown Todd knew that Myron possessed all of the best attributes of a true professional. Each of us is here today with a special remembrance. Close your eyes and you might remember his smile and his humor, his wit, his optimism, his enthusiasm for life. These are the stories, these are the Myron encounters that we'll all remember. Now, walking into his office at Frost Brown Todd was always a treat. Actually, it was an adventure because you never knew what you were going to find in there. And I don't think Myron knew what he was going to find in there either. The first thing you may have noticed was this baseball bat. This baseball bat. It was a gigantic baseball bat. No one knew why it was there. It just appeared. Well, let me show you. I don't know whether this was a disciplinary tool for his children or associates or what, but here it is, and it belongs with Myron. Now, this may come as a surprise to you, but Myron was not known as a neat freak. He followed the pile method of filing in his office, probably something that he learned as a best practice at Yale. Just looking at the piles brought a smile to your face. It might contain open books, a Christmas list of names of people for some event you had no idea, timesheets, billing memos, tax returns, drafts of speeches. These piles changed frequently, and not because I'm not sure that was because Myron got that task done and completed. I think it might have been because his secretary had come in and tried to clean up his office and make it something that looked more respectable. Sort of like Sisyphus, who pushed that rock up the hill. his whole life. And as soon as he'd get to the top, it would roll back down, and he'd have to start all over again. Then there were the mementos. One was a brick from the Underground Freedom Center, from the Underground Railroad Freedom Center. He was a founding board member, and I think this belongs with him too. It should go with him. Now, he was very proud of the fact that he went to Yale, and he made no bones about it. And he had lots of artifacts in his office that proved it. There were all sorts of things, like a certificate that he was a captain and a member of the Yale light rowing team. And if you missed the message, if you missed it, he even had a needlepoint that he made himself, just so you wouldn't forget that he was a Yaley. And truly, this belongs with him. Always smiling. Now, only Myron Dale would be able to get a clerkship up in Alaska. This was his letter of recommendation from the district attorney up there in Alaska. It was an introduction. During the course of the summer, I had opportunity to drink, well, that's a real surprise, drink, hike, boat, and fly with Mr. Dale. I also saw Mr. Dale in the office several days the last week of July. He says, I believe is a heck of a guy. I know we're in a Methodist church, so that's not exactly what it says here, but it'll suffice. I believe Myron is a heck of a guy. The girls who worked at the Moose Range think so too. You betcha. Oh, I didn't notice that. Anyway, this goes there too. This goes there. You betcha. Come on. Now, when Myron came back to Cincinnati, he wanted to introduce himself to the legal profession. He didn't know anybody. He'd been gone for a long time. He had been at Yale. In case you missed it, he was a graduate of Yale. And he was gone for a long time. And he wanted to do something to introduce himself back into the legal profession here. So like Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney, who said, let's have a show. So Myron wrote and produced 2 shows with the Cincinnati Bar Association. He was a veteran of the Gilbert and Sullivan stage at Yale, again. The Cincinnati Bar Association, Trial by Jury. I think it's out on DVD now. You can get it at Blockbuster, and that's why Blockbuster is where it is today, in bankruptcy. This goes with Myron. He always had certificates of appreciation from all these organizations he worked with, whether it was the creative and performing arts. He always seemed to go with the difficult kinds of jobs and responsibilities. And we at Frost Brown Todd knew that he led us in our civic activities. He was what we looked to. We have to recall his lawyer professionalism. We have to remember this. He had an incredible writing style. He wrote in an elegant manner, always looking for the right word. Myron one time called the writing of a young attorney wooden. Now, you might have said lousy or not very good, but wooden. Doesn't that really convey the meaning of what he was trying to say to this young person? It's sort of like that change that you see in the speech that FDR made after Pearl Harbor. The speech was originally written as, "This will be a day that lives in history." And FDR had crossed out history and written in infamy. Day of infamy, day of history. Wooden, elegant. He was always willing to sit down, and he did, in fact, sit down with that young associate and gave him the keys to using elegant picture language, words that would convey in a few words or a phrase what the whole point was of that particular brief.